How you doing, everybody? And thanks for tuning in here on ESPNMilwaukee.com, ESPNMadison.com, and Channel3000.com live or on YouTube. From East Rutherford, New Jersey, where the Packers today at the new Meadowlands Stadium, 9-0 winners, their first road shutout since 1991 at Tampa Bay. A colossal win from a team that I don't think a lot of people expected to win this one. The Jets coming off a bye, coming in at 5-1, one of the best teams in the league. The Packers, meanwhile, with tons of injuries on defense, not knowing who they're going to start on their defensive line, their offense not clicking the way they're accustomed to it clicking, and yet they emerge with a huge win, taking them into one more game before the bye week. And in talking with Aaron Rodgers after the game, he made it very clear that, look, this is now a really good position for this team to be in. If they can go home next weekend on a Sunday night on NBC and beat the reeling Dallas Cowboys, who are now 1-6 after an ugly loss at home to Jacksonville, the Packers can go into their bye week 6-3 and in pretty darn good position, considering that this team was 500 and 3-3, coming off back-to-back losses in overtime on field goals. I think there's a couple of different storylines that come to mind here. First of all, you don't see many games in which the punter is one of the players of the game, but how Tim Masthay cannot get a game ball here is impossible to imagine. He was terrific. All of his punts, he had one bad punt really that almost turned into a great play for the Packers because it appeared that it might have hit off of a Jets player. It turned out not to be the case, but he was absolutely terrific. And in a game in which field position and defense were at a premium, the Packers got both. Masthay was good on punts, and the defense comes up with 3 turnovers, 2 fourth-down stops, a missed field goal from the Jets. Everything everyone needed to see from this defense, they delivered. They had 2 sacks on Mark Sanchez, who was really forced to carry the load offensively. The Packers made it their goal coming in to stop the run, and they were very successful doing it. LaDainian Tomlinson with 16 carries, Sean Green a non-factor as well. The longest run the Jets had from a running back was 8 yards. Sanchez had the longest run with a 20-yard gain. But even when the Jets had a couple of big plays, the Packers defense came up with stops thereafter to preserve the shutout. The Packers have had 3 shutouts under Mike McCarthy now. They had one in 2007 against the Vikings. They had one last year against Detroit, and now this one today. But I don't know if they get much bigger than this. And Mike McCarthy did make the comment after the game that he didn't want to rank these types of wins because he feels like he's beyond that at this point in his time. But he did say this, that there's going to be a lot bigger wins than this one. At this point, though, with this team, and I know the 2017 went 13-3 and went to the NFC Championship game, but given where this team was and how it was kind of teetering on the brink of having this season go right down the tubes, to be 5-3, to come here and make a statement against a team that certainly talks a good game, and I still think is a pretty good football team in the Jets, I think this is just a really, really big win. As big as the win over Brett Favre and the Vikings was last week, I think this one might even be bigger just because it's on the road. It keeps the momentum going from beating the Vikings and now puts the Packers in a pretty darn good position going into Dallas and then going into the bye week. So if they can win at home against Dallas on Sunday night next week, to be 6-3 with 7 games to go, and some tough ones in there certainly on the second half of the schedule, that would be huge. The offense has to be better. This was a really good defense they played today, but it still sputtered way too much. They had a possible touchdown to James Jones that Jones dropped from Rodgers. They can't afford to continue to miss big opportunities offensively. But other than that, it's really hard to find a lot of fault with this win. It's a real quality win, and it's really good for the Packers. We'll be doing our 5 questions with intern Jackie later in the week, but if you have Wildy's mailbox questions, it's kind of replaced Wildy's mailbox, but we still need to get some up there. Be sure to send them in. I know I ask for them all the time. Jason J. Wildy is Twitter, if you can do it in 140 characters or less. You can always email me at jwildy@espnwisconsin.com. Thanks for tuning in. Again, big 9-0 win for the Packers here at the Meadowlands. We'll see you next time.